All right, so we're going to continue on with our tough love series. I got some great feedback from you guys. I think this is going to be a hit with many of you. And this week's version of it is going to be maybe a little bit more cruel in a way, but I don't mean it to be cruel. Again, it's just tough love. Sometimes it doesn't come off very nice, but it is meant in the spirit of wanting to help you guys. Like, I just want you to know that, okay? And especially this week's one where I'm going to say some things that really will not be so flattering for a lot of you, okay? So I can't tell you how many times I get a comment, I get the email of something that says something to the effect of, I really want to get involved in sync licensing, and my wife always thought that my tracks would be perfect for films. All my friends think that my music is awesome for car commercials, or I just think that my music fits perfectly with TV shows, and I've always thought that I'd be a great fit for this business. And I've checked out quite a few of the tracks of people who have said that. And the answer is no, not where your tracks currently are at. They probably, more than likely, are not ready for TV shows, movies, commercials, anything like that, okay? If your wife happens to be a music supervisor and she says your music would be great for placements, that's an opinion that I would really that holds some water, right? If you happen to be somebody that works in this industry that makes decisions for this and you also happen to make music, okay, then you probably know what you're talking about and you know that your music would be great. If, like, probably 99% of you, you're just watching TV and then making music, and you kind of look at TV, look at your music, look at TV, look at music, and you're like, I think my tracks would easily fit on that, right? I'm just tough love time. Probably not. Not in the current state that they're in. I'm not saying that you can't get to that point. Okay, that's the important differentiation that I want to make sure. It's not impossible to improve your tracks and make them closer to being licensable. But probably right now, especially if you've never studied this side of the business, if you've never understood how production music works, you've never even heard the word production music, you've never heard that term before, you're not familiar with libraries, you're not familiar with the type of music that they put out. If you're not familiar with any of the stuff involved in sync licensing, chances are you don't have music that's ready for this business, okay? So sorry to give you the tough love, but that's really where a lot of you guys are when you're just getting started and dipping your toe into this business. Now, when I first got started, I also was very naive, okay? So I'm speaking from experience here. I thought my music was ready for actually primetime A-list artists. Like, I was trying to shop my music to Chris Brown and whoever the biggest artists were back in the day, and I thought that my beats were ready for them. And oh my God, they not ready at all for them. But in my head, I was thinking, like, but my music is there, and I know I can get that placement. And I know my music would be great for the radio, and I know I could have hits, right? And so I just relate to this so much because I just remember being that delusional and that completely, like, nearsighted in the very beginning, and not taking a little bit of a zoom out. And also maybe just my ears weren't ready to hear. Like, sometimes I find that, like, the older I get, the more I produce, I feel like my ears expect more out of my productions now. I think back then, because I was so new to it, my ears didn't expect a lot of great stuff. They just kind of expected something that sounded like a song. And so as soon as it sounded like a song, I was excited, and I kind of just stopped, trying to improve it, because I didn't have this mental expectation that it needed to get better. So I want to let you guys know that I've been in that exact same position. So it wasn't until I actually got into sync licensing and started listening to music more critically, and also comparing what I was doing to what the other composers in the libraries I was with were doing. That's when the sort of hard, tough love, the truth, started to hit me, which was that my tracks don't hit as hard as theirs. My guitars don't sound as, like, realistic and believable. My guitars feel really thin and small. My mixes don't feel as spread out or stereo enough. My low end is really muddy, or just not really that present. The sounds that I'm using just don't feel as crisp or as impactful as other producers. So slowly but surely, getting basically beat up and being, kind of going to school all the time and trying to constantly produce, I slowly improved my track and improved my production and mixing and mastering skills. And eventually I found that my tracks were starting to be on par with the others that were out there in the libraries that I was working with. Okay. So I want you guys to know that wherever you are, if you're just jumping into sync licensing, chances are you're probably where I was in the beginning, which is your ears have not been trained yet. You don't know what's licensable. You don't know really where you stand in terms of the quality, and you might be a little bit delusional like I was. You might think you're at a 9, but you're really at a 3. and you really need to take the time to educate yourself, work on your craft, get better, slowly progress your way towards that 9 or 10, obviously, eventually. And we really never get to 10. I think it's kind of a ridiculous thing because I have been certainly steadily increasing the quality of my tracks, writing, producing, mixing, and mastering. But it's never something you master, right? You always are learning. You're always being challenged. There's always things being thrown your way, which is like, I don't know how to mix this bass. How do I get this bass to mix with this kick? There's always things that it's just a constant puzzle, which is part of the thing that keeps pulling you back into it, right? Over and over again. That's why people can do music their entire life, because it's like there's this constant, never-ending mystery you can never quite fully grasp, which makes it really exciting. But this is the reason why I started Sync Academy. Okay, if you don't know what Sync Academy is, it is essentially the training ground, the boot camp, the place to go if you want to learn how to go from your 3, wherever you are, up to a 9. Now, you might still, again, after this video, think you're at a 9 and you're still getting started. And you're like, well, I don't need to get better because my tracks are fine. Go for it. I wish you all the best. Submit your tracks, go find a library, put your music out there, and I hope your tracks do really, really well. I sincerely do hope for that. If they don't, if you get rejected, if you get feedback, if you get like, not really for us, or we're just not interested right now, if you're getting a lot of that, it might be a reality time. It might be a tough love time for yourself to realize that you're not quite where you think you are, and you need to get training, and you need to get better, and you need to learn. You need to kind of humble yourself to realize, like I had to, I don't have it all figured out, and that's okay. It's actually freedom. I find that when I can get more into that state of mind of like, I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to have everything figured out. If I can go find the answers, if I can figure out a way to improve myself, you relieve that burden of feeling like you've got everything. And it kind of just, for me, at least, because I struggle like with my pride a lot, is just letting go of that and realizing that it's not that like I'm worthless. It's not that I don't know how to make music. It's not that I don't have a creative spark. I know you have that watching this video right now. I know you have that creative spark. But now it's just a matter of how do you sort of put on the guiding lights for yourself to steer your music towards something that can actually be useful and placed, and then obviously make that money for you with your sync fees, your consideration fees, and your royalties. If you can kind of like let go of the pride, let go of the ego a little bit, and realize that it's time to kind of just improve, sooner you do that, the better your tracks are going to be. Okay, so as much as the opinions and the thoughts and the encouragement of our loved ones is really needed and necessary, it's absolutely a part of our daily lives, and you definitely need it. I don't want to discount this at all. If you don't have people in your life encouraging you and telling you, go for it, I think you can do it, you have a much tougher road than the rest of us that have a couple of people in our lives that are sort of cheering us on. So hopefully you can get a couple of those. And if not, Sync Academy can be your place where that's all we do is we really just push and cheer each other on, because we know it's really hard to find a lot of support for what we're doing here with this business, right? But as important as that is, and necessary as that is, a requirement, we shouldn't be taking the thoughts and the opinions of people who are not in the industry as serious maybe as we have been taking them, okay? They think your music is great for TV, that's awesome. If they're not in the TV business, they're not in the licensing business, they don't work for a library, they're not even involved with anything that we do here, take that as encouragement. And that's what it really is, which is awesome. And then love that and love them for that encouragement they're giving you. But don't take that as professional advice that your music is ready and you should start submitting it because your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your roommate, your coworker, somebody online in a comment told you, dude, I could totally hear this on TV. Okay. You got to make sure that you're getting that kind of feedback from somebody who knows what they're really talking about. So that's the tough love I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think below.